Did the old prophets actually meet angels on top of mountains? Or were they highly intelligent beings from a galaxy far, far away? Welcome to UFOlogy, where we explore the truth about alien life. Because let's face it, we're not alone, and the evidence is everywhere. In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 more historical individuals who may have been aliens. There's been no shortage of strange historical figures. Many of these seem to defy beliefs with their actions. Were they even human to begin with? If you're curious to know more, let's get right into the video. Nikola Tesla. First, we have Nikola Tesla. Tesla was an eccentric inventor who was Thomas Edison's main business rival. He was born in Croatia on July 10, 1856, during a lightning storm. A strange thing occurred during his birth. The midwife believed the thunder was a bad omen, but his mother disagreed. She said, "Nope, he's gonna be the child of light." These words were seemingly prophetic. As Tesla grew up, he had heightened senses. He could hear thunder 550 miles away and the ticking of a pocket watch 3 rooms away from him. Tesla could even pick out the sound of a fly landing on the table. His vision was also sensitive. Tesla often suffered from blurred vision due to perceiving ordinary light as something blinding. Another strange talent he had was incredible photographic memory and a vivid imagination. Tesla was able to memorize entire books and pictures after a few minutes of observation. He called it cerebral engineering. Tesla also said his mind was an unfathomable mystery. When he started working, the inventor used his talent to create new diagrams in his head without needing to write them down. In total, Tesla authored more than 700 patents and innovations. Unfortunately, most of them were never put into production. Amongst his inventions were the Tesla coil, the first hydroelectric power plant, and remote controls. Nikola Tesla also claimed to have invented a death beam. He called it Teleforce, but no trace has ever been found of this invention. Perhaps he hid it away out of fear it would be misused. It's safe to say Tesla was inhumanely intelligent. In 1926, he even managed to predict the rise of smartphones. Keep in mind that this was 70 years before the first smartphone was invented. To quote Tesla, "When wireless is applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain," which, in fact, it is. All things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. We shall see and hear one another as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles. The instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. That was a bold prediction for his time. With all his eccentricities and strange talents, it seems likely Tesla was something more than human. Pythagoras. For the second individual, we're going back in time more than 2,000 years. In ancient Greece, there lived a philosopher and mathematician named Pythagoras. You've probably studied some of his mathematical theories in school. But he wasn't known only for maths. Pythagoras was also a cult leader. The Pythagorean cult had some strange ideas, to say the least. Like Tesla, the circumstances of Pythagoras' birth were unusual. He was born on the island of Samos around 570 BC. His mother was a woman named Pythias. As for his father, many of his followers believed it was the god Apollo. Some also claimed it was Hermes. Pythagoras left home at 18 to travel and expand his education. By the time his travels were over, Pythagoras had established a religious sect. He was worshipped as a god by his sect. They believed he possessed supernatural powers that allowed him to write words on the face of the moon. They also thought he could control wild animals with his voice. The Pythagorean faith revolved around numbers. They believed the world functioned based on mathematical harmonies. To Pythagoreans, math was holy. The number 7, for example, was associated with wisdom, and 8 was associated with justice. 10 was the universe's holiest number. The cult created a prayer that said, "Bless us, divine number, who created gods and men." Their most sacred symbol was the tetractys, a triangle with 10 points across 4 rows. Pythagoras took math so seriously that he murdered his most famous acolyte over it. Rational numbers that can be expressed as fractions were sacred doctrine. When Pythagoras' disciple Hippasus demonstrated the existence of irrational numbers, it became a threat to their worldview. Unfortunately, Hippasus was intelligent but not very wise. He demonstrated his irrational numbers while on a boat. On board were Hippasus, Pythagoras, and a few other Pythagoreans. Pythagoras wrestled Hippasus to the side of the boat. He then plunged his disciple's head underwater until he drowned. Another weird belief held by Pythagoras was that beans were taboo. Yes, beans. Pythagoreans were vegetarians who avoided meat, but beans were the only plant they refused to touch. Pythagoras equated their consumption to cannibalism. He preached that to eat beans was morally equivalent to devouring one's parents. Pythagoras also believed that humans lost a bit of their soul whenever they farted. Beans would have made them fart more, accelerating the process of this loss. Pythagoras led a strange life, and the exact circumstances of his death are unknown. Until today, many questions about him remain unanswered. Were his teachings the ramblings of a madman, or was he truly the son of a celestial being? Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Lastly, let's take a look at Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Distantly related to Vlad the Impaler, Countess Bathory lived in Hungary in the 16th century. She is best known as the Blood Countess for horrifying reasons. As a child, Bathory was sickly and had multiple seizures. At the time, treatments included rubbing the blood of a non-sufferer on the lips of an epileptic. This may have contributed to her heinous deeds later in life. Between 1590 and 1610 AD, Bathory and 4 of her servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women. The tales say she drank the blood of young, pretty girls. Others also claim she bathed in that blood. No one knows why, though one theory is that she felt it would keep her young and beautiful. It could also have been a cure for iron deficiency. Bathory is said to have begun killing daughters of lesser nobles. They were sent to her palace by their parents to learn courtly etiquette. She tortured them in various ways, including using needles. After rumors of Bathory's atrocities had spread throughout the kingdom, numerous complaints were made against her. By the year 1611, royal investigators had collected over 300 witness statements. Some witnesses named relatives who died while at Bathory's palace. Others reported having seen traces of torture on dead bodies. Her servants were put on trial and convicted, but Bathory never received a proper trial. Instead, she was imprisoned within Castle Chete for the rest of her life. Bathory died at the age of 54. Some say she was bricked up in a room, while others claim she was free to roam the castle. Some historians believe that Countess Bathory was slandered. It may have been a power grab by other nobles who coveted her land and wealth. The lack of a formal trial casts doubt on the accusations. Either way, Bathory's tale is a grisly one. It paints her as an inhumane figure, obsessed with blood. Was she even human to begin with? Nobody knows for sure. These are 3 out of many other strange and notorious historical figures. Many people throughout history have become famous or infamous for their deeds. The question is, were they just eccentrics or something more? As we uncover more stories from the past, perhaps we'll find the truth. Make sure to comment below on what your thoughts are, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to tune in next week.